Welcome on in to the Mental Health Hour. Welcome to episode 86. Today is the last Wednesday of March, the last Wednesday of Women's History Month. And we are doing a special on women, stigmas, and mental health relating to that of women, in honor of Women's History Month. Good to see everybody here tonight. We are a little late, but not too late. I had quite a day. So anyway, Gemma, being a woman, is kindly running tonight's show for us. She's taken the slide duty over and got quite a few lined up for us tonight, and she's going to take us through, pretty much this episode. I had a final exam today for instructor class. I also had Penelope, So, Gemma, how are we this evening? How are we after getting prepared for tonight's episode?
Oh dear. Yeah, flustered. I didn't realize lots of things about StreamYard till tonight. Like I thought, I've got quite a few slides that will demonstrate this topic very well, and like literally everything that could have gone wrong did. So yeah, we're live. It's working.
We are live. We're here. Stumbled through the intro. I saw it go down, and I knew what you had done, and so then
I
I
didn't
just
know
sat
it was
there.
going to do that.
I sat there and watched the panic in the green room unfold.
You got laughing your head off, thinking
Here
is
I
she
am
this
demonstrating
out?
live that I am an
What?
incompetent fool when it comes to technology. Annoyingly, I know what to do. Technology hates me, however.
It does.
Ace the Grim Reaper, hello. You
Hey,
did not
Richard.
miss anything. We are just getting underway.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you. Good to see everybody. Mr. Med in the house as well. Huacha. And I think we have said hello to all of the chatters that are chatting. That being said, let's get underway. Miss Gemma,
Yeah.
what have you for us to kind of get underway? Do you want to start personal? Do you want to start broad spectrum?
Yeah, like when I've been looking into what to bring for this broadcast, I wanted to do it justice in the sense that there are a lot of stigmas that even in 2023 women still face, and a lot of differences. So I wanted to cover a broad sort of spectrum of things that would demonstrate that without getting too personal in other senses. Like I wanted to keep it so that it's relevant to all without going down different cultures as well that makes these things different.
Right.
I
Yeah.
certainly have myself experienced these kind of things with work, and then anybody, any woman that buys any kind of female product, as we're going to like show certain things, you are paying more for. It's known as pink tax.
So is pink tax We'll get
Mhm.
into it a little bit more down the road here on the show. But um, is pink tax, is that a UK thing? Is that worldwide? What
Oh, it's
is?
worldwide. It's worldwide.
See, now this is great because as we do on this show, uh, we we don't know everything about every topic. Now, I'm certainly not going to have much uh, in the way of personal knowledge here, as I'm not a woman. Um, but that's the great thing about the show is that
Mhm.
we can bounce things off of each other, and you've definitely had different experiences than I have,
Mhm.
um, and the such. And so I end up learning just as much as hopefully our audience that listens. Speaking of, don't if you aren't already, please join the socials. The bio link is in the chat, and the Discord will be coming up throughout the show. Feel free to give that a follow. If you're not on Discord, it's easy to sign up and it's easy to get underway and to find us. Um, Naomi puts, as she just did there, she puts it in the chat for us throughout the show, and you can click that link there, and that's personal invite to our mental health hour Discord. Um, a great community of folks that watch the show, chat, and come together. You can catch us on YouTube for all of the replays. If you miss an episode live, the video replays are all uploaded onto YouTube. I am an episode behind at this point, but I will get on that um, either tomorrow or Friday. And then, of course, we are broadcasted on all of the major podcasting uh, platforms, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc., etc. Okay, we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the chat at hand. So we were talking a little bit about pink tax, and like I said, we'll get more involved in that as I think you have a slide or two for that. Um, but so that's worldwide. That's felt.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's what I've done with some of these slides. Some of them demonstrate it in British pounds, some of it's US dollars, some of it's euros, and it just shows that no matter where you are in the world, you might not be aware that even now there's stigmas attached to being a woman, but you're paying more for things that, say, for example, a razor, a man who wanting to shave, that there's the cost of whatever razor that is deemed an essential. If a woman wants to shave, that is taxed under the pink tax because it's deemed as a luxury. There's been a
hey,
lot in the media lately about such as sanitary products for women, Tampax, things like that, and
that
the
seems essential.
a tax on that. It is deemed as a luxury.
A Tampax is
I
a luxury.
personally don't think bleeding for a week every month is a fucking luxury. I really don't.
Without a form of bleeding control.
Yeah. And there was a lot, certainly over here, there's been a lot of protests and things going on to try and end the tax on sanitary products and things like that. And it is genuinely the same worldwide. I do actually have a slide that shows you that there are certain countries that don't apply tax to sanitary products, but out of all the countries that are listed, most of them deem sanitary products as a luxury. I
That's
do have quite a lot of slides tonight because I wanted to make sure I did this justice
right,
and show you.
and we can get right into them since there are a
So
good bit. But real quick, I want to say hello to everybody still trickling in. Betty Bubbles, hello to you, and Michael Joseph Murray. Always great to see you. Um, Good to
Yeah,
see everybody. So, Gemma, wherever you'd like to start,
I've
I'm
got them
just
in
gonna
order
be color
here.
commentator tonight and kind of learn with you.
Yeah. Right. Well, I've got a bit of an order here because I haven't managed to upload all of them yet because it only allows 10. So we'll start with, where are we? We'll start with this one. Okay, so this is investing in the mental health of women. So we're going to start with the mental health side. There's different routes that I would consider stigmas of being a woman. One of these is mental health. So it says here, this is for women, that the leading cause of death for girls aged 15 to 19 worldwide is no longer childbirth, but suicide. Women are twice as likely as men to develop a major depression, post traumatic stress disorder, and anxiety disorders. And women are 3 times more likely to encounter barriers to accessing mental health services. Um, so, mental health by the numbers. Millennial women are experiencing higher rates of depression than their male counterparts. Women reported 4 times the rate of anxiety as men due to the gender pay gap, which is something I'm going to cover a bit more later. Risk factors for mental disorders include gender based violence. The lifetime prevalence rate of violence against women ranges from 16 to 50%.
Wow.
Poverty is a risk factor for poor mental health. Women make up to 70% of the world's poor and are at the highest risk for diminished mental health. And then yeah, that doesn't really need to be read, that one. So here we've got this one. So 2 times more women attempt suicide than men. Anorexia and bulimia are 3 times more common in a woman than a man. 1 in 12 women will develop alcohol dependence during their life. 2 times as likely as men to develop depression. 2 times as likely as men to suffer anxiety disorders. And 2 times more likely than men to experience post traumatic stress disorder. And then we go to this one. So, according to the World Health Organization, more than half of patients who meet the criteria for a psychological illness get left undiagnosed. We touched upon this last week. So,
Hmm.
severe mental illness is 70% more prevalent in women than men. Women are statistically 2 times as likely to have generalized anxiety disorder, and severe mental illness affects 4.5% of the population of 11 million adults. Common conditions in women include generalized anxiety disorder, perinatal depression, eating disorders, postpartum depression, body dysmorphic disorder, bipolar disorder, and borderline personality disorders.
We have covered pretty much all of those, with the exception of perinatal
Mm-hmm.
and borderline personality, which we have both of those in the works. Yeah, perinatal, we haven't. I think we did talk about postpartum, which I believe is
Yeah, well, that,
the same. Um,
yeah,
uh, but going back to uh, the first one, there was a lot of info there. I know the pay gap in particular has been quite
yeah,
a hot topic as far as even in the sporting world goes.
yeah, yeah,
Over here, our women's national football team, or soccer team as we call it, our U.S. women's soccer team fought for equal pay and won uh,
mm-hmm.
as the men's team. Equal pay as the men's team, because they were getting the
That's not,
shaft on their end, and they were actually winning World Cups, unlike our men. Um, so they fought and won. It was probably, I don't want to say incorrect numbers, but it seems like it was a year long
Mm,
court thing, probably longer, to get that passed, and they did. They were successful.
mhm.
Um,
You've got a
so I
slide.
mean,
Sorry,
even
go.
in the sporting world, we're seeing the pay gap be an issue.
Mm,
But yeah, I just thought I'd toss that in there as you were discussing.
yeah, right. Well, I've got a slide here that does actually show the gender pay gap, and it's by country. So it says how much less do women earn than men. So this shows the difference between the average gross hourly earnings of a male and a female employee. So they're comparing it on like the same jobs. Um, and it's as a percentage of the male gross earnings, and this is from 2020. This is the newest one I could find. So the closest being Luxembourg at 0.7%. So they're actually not too bad. And the worst being Latvia at 22.3. So the EU 13%. Where have we got? Have we got America on here? Scrolling through it, it doesn't actually show it. I think it says, but for all countries at um, Czech and Iceland, data enterprises employing 10 or more employees.
Am I missing the United States on there? Or...
That's what I'm looking for. I thought it was on here, but
Well, that's
I
okay. It's International Women's Day there.
don't.
Um, Eurostat. So it's probably covering the Europe region. I would venture to say that the United States is probably not looking too hot in this department.
Yeah. Anyway, let me move on to this one. So this is women as a percentage of the total employed in selected occupations. So it says that 95.6% of the total employees are speech and language pathologists. 81.7% of elementary and middle school teachers are women. 81.6% are social workers. 76.2% meeting, convention, and event planners. 74.9% are tailors, dressmakers, and sewers. And then you've got psychologists, 71.2. Hotel, motel, and resort desk clerks, 64.4%. And then without going like all of them, you can see going to the other end, there is 4.3% of the total employees that are women for aircraft pilots and flight engineers, 4.5% firefighters,
Hmm.
13.6% architects and engineers, and then chefs and head cooks, 18.7%. And I think a lot of people assume that women cooking, kitchen, things like that, that's just certainly years and years ago, there was this
So
thing where women would be at home doing the cooking and the cleaning, and men would go out and be the
right, and
breadwinners.
this is as of 2011,
Yeah.
um, from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Mhm,
I've seen. So I've been employed as a firefighter since 2007 here
mhm.
in the great US. And I've definitely seen an upward spike. Hopefully that 4.5% has shot up a bit. There
Yeah,
are we have here in my department, we have quite a few more women um, career firefighters
yeah,
in the field now. We are pumping through a good bit more recruit classes than we were when I first was hired.
yeah,
We went through quite a stretch of hiring freeze and whatnot. So that took away from job opportunities. However, I think there was you could probably count on one or two hands how many women worked for the department. Um, two hands. You can count on two hands how many women worked for the department
Mhm.
prior to, I mean, or at the time of my hire date, versus now, the numbers way better.
Yeah.
So that has trended upwards. I'm going to assume, and this is speaking off the cuff without any factual basis. I'm going to assume that a majority of these have seen an upward trend.
Yeah.
Certainly, we're hearing a lot more about doctors and lawyers and uh,
I
what
know
else?
with the
Aircraft pilots and flight engineers.
yeah.
Yeah. So
With
I
the
mean,
teaching one, like for example, it says elementary and middle school teachers, because it is true that like if you was to look at the school where you take your kids or wherever, most of those in primary schools, we don't have middle school here anymore, but in primary schools and things, most of them are women. And then if men are going to go into teaching, most of those end
they're
up
in the
in
higher
secondary
grades.
schools. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I can remember from being in school as a
subject,
kid.
yeah.
Elementary school was predominantly women
Mhm.
teachers.
And it
It
still
was
is like
only
that here. There's not many at all. I think in my son's school, I think there's maybe 3 male members of staff.
you started seeing a bunch of male teachers or professors when you got into the latter years,
Mhm.
high school and college.
Yeah.
And I that's not something I had really thought about
And
until.
they seem to be predominantly in certain subjects as well, like sports or maths, things like that.
And
Um,
remember, in elementary school, you have one teacher. At least here, you have one teacher that goes over the whole day.
yeah, yeah, that's same.
It's not until you get to middle school and high school in particular that you're breaking your classes down by period and teacher. So you have
Yeah.
four or
Yeah,
five
one
different
teacher does one
teachers.
subject. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas in primary, because I've worked in them both, um, in primary school, you are with that teacher for the whole day, and that teacher covers all of the subjects. Whereas,
this is a fascinating slide.
mhm,
Just seeing the numbers in the gap between men versus women in a predominant percentage of who does what,
mhm,
because not only are we seeing the numbers in the way of women as a percentage, if just as equally, if you flip flop this, it would show you how much of the men are taking these. So only 4.4% of men are in speech language pathology.
mhm.
Just it's a good slide. It's something to definitely talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe get into more down the road about why we think this is, or how it came to be that more women are in social work
Mm.
than architecture. You know, um, is it strictly a uh, is it is it something that men have claimed as their own? Is it
Yeah,
something that women have a very hard time getting involved with or into get their foot in the door with?
yeah.
Like, I'm just taking architecture out of the um, out of the pool just randomly.
Mhm.
Uh, why can't women be seen more in this field?
Yeah.
Uh, that's the question. Like, is it more of a? I don't buy. I guess in today's age, again, this slide is from 2011, but in today's age, in today's time, I don't buy that it's um, uh, it, we're very careful with equal employment rights these days versus, I guess, back in 2011. It's a whole different story. But it would be interesting, I guess, to see the numbers skew now, if we could find that down the road.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything that was similar to this, but that was newer.
I-
I was just having a really quick look now, just somewhere else, but there isn't anything that is like this, um, as
Craig
detailed.
brings up an extra interesting point here. If I want help, nurse, social services, etc., I prefer a lady, as they seem to care more.
Well,
And I
yeah,
could see a little bit of what he's talking about there. They're less abrasive generally, less uh, quick to brush you off. Uh, I know, what do they call that? The maternal instinct,
yeah, and
or
that's what I
caregiver
think.
syndrome.
Like, I've certainly just, I mean, obviously, this is my opinion. You can tell me whether you agree or disagree with this. But obviously, like years back, um, women weren't seen as workers at all. They were the ones that stayed at home, made the food, looked after the kids, where the
Sure.
man was the breadwinner. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of how the jobs have gone, like say teaching up at the top for being with women, because again, it's children, looking after the children. Um, and I think a lot of that is, I guess, stereotypical for people assume that women are the ones that do the looking after the children. And then at the other end of it, where it comes to firefighting and things, that's a job where you need to be quite strong. And a lot of people have this, like women have this stigma attached that they're not strong and that they're not able to do like manual labor, and that a man is much stronger. And that's not always the case. But I
Yeah,
think
I
a lot of
would put
these
I
jobs.
would put some of the women that work for us up against, and any of the men.
Hmm.
Um, they're definitely uh, more than capable of handling themselves in this career,
Hmm.
and this profession. But you do see somewhat of a stigma attached with the fire service still. While we're employing more women than when I was first hired, um, there's a stigma attached with it that they are primarily getting in for the EMS side of things, the paramedics, the
Hmm.
the ambulance, over the fire, which is just not true at all.
Yeah.
We do see a good number of them jump down the paramedic route, but that doesn't, in any sense, disqualify or take away from their ability
Hmm.
to ride that fire truck with the
Hmm.
best of them.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, definitely. And it'd be interesting to see if you had a female worker that does the same job as you. It'd be interesting to see, or for you to look at and see if you get paid the same hourly rate or the same fixed rate, whatever it is. Because I remember before I had to medically retire from teaching, there was this big thing over here where they would be fighting for equal pay. It's all still going on even now, even in 2023. There is a pay.
oh yeah, we get paid the same. We're on a step grade, salary based, hourly based system,
Mhm.
and we're unionized. So
Oh,
uh,
well, yeah, because
yeah, so
unions
everybody's
were.
everybody's getting the salary that of the step grade that they're at. So um, time on the job, years of service, promotions, these
Mhm,
type of things will increase your pay rate. But as it stands, if you've got 12 years on, or a step 12 on the pay grade, you make the
mhm.
same as everybody else. Um,
Yeah, I
there
know that.
are incentives. Medics, paramedics get an incentive.
Mhm,
Special services get an incentive, such as like rope rescue, water rescue, etc. And then, of course, promotions, captains, lieutenants, and technicians all get a higher base rate.
yeah, I think Like, thinking back to when I used to work at the school as a teacher, they were doing this big it was with the unions where they would compare the job of a teacher to something, because primary school teaching, as we've just discussed, is predominantly women, and they were comparing it to a job that was predominantly men. And it was something that the union was doing, fighting for equal pay. And my job as a teacher was compared to that of a bin man, because they are predominantly male workers. And it worked out that as a woman, I was earning less doing a job that I had spent years training for at college and university, getting less than that of a bin man. And not to discredit the work that they do at all, but that isn't something you had to go and study for years.
Right.
Yet they were getting more money, and it was deemed, again, that was deemed as a job for a man, because they have the wheelie bins and things here where it connects to the bin truck now, so it just tips it in itself and then you have to move it. But again, it comes down to the stigma of women not being strong enough to move the bins and things. And
Certainly.
it was certainly, there was a hell of a difference between the pay at the time. I don't know if it's improved somewhat, but there is still that difference. Now, I have got here.
I'd like to say before you jump back in, that to that point, um,
Mhm.
I think that there has been, at least I can speak for my area of the United States. I'd like to think it's nationwide, but I think there has been definitely an upward trend in equalizing things for men and women. Now, I knew nothing about this pink tax, um, which we'll get into shortly.
I've got a few slides for that. So,
Yeah, but as far as job performance and pay rates, I think we're seeing some definite progress there. Whether or not this falls under equal employment or our laws being better for that, or if it's just union stuff, I do
mm,
think there is an upwards trend in the right direction for equality coming down the road. And while we have a quick moment, as I saw Hattie Naomi put up in the chat there, I do want to take a moment to remind everyone watching and listening later on, down the road here, or actually, I'm sorry, next week. Next week we will be doing our live Q&A special number 5 here on the Mental Health Hour. That's Wednesday, April 5th, next week, 6 p.m., 11 p.m. Gemma time, 6 p.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time. There's a QR code there that is up. If you are not watching live and you're listening on the podcast platform, you obviously can't see the QR code, but there will be a link in the description, the episode description for YouTube. Go ahead and click on that bio.link/TMHH. It'll take you to our submit a question page. All the questions are completely anonymous, and
mhm.
uh, Gemma goes through them to make sure that they are safe and friendly for our show here. Submissions must pertain to a topic in mental health and must not be offensive in any way to be read and answered live on the show. So please keep that in mind as you scan that QR code to submit us a question that we will read live. This is our 5th episode of the live Q&A. The past 4 have gone
Yeah,
amazingly.
really
I
well.
can't say a bad thing about it. They usually go for about an hour and a half, so plan on a later broadcast next week as we sift through everybody's questions that come in. Remember, anything mental health at all, we'll read them
Yeah,
live, we'll answer them live, and we'll have a good time as we always do. That's our live Q&A 5 coming up next week on the Mental Health Hour. Gemma, it is
yeah.
all yours again.
Right, so I've just quickly added this one now, again, in reference to pay. I'm just going to go back to it because I've lost it. So this shows you the jobs, okay, how much men and women get paid for selected jobs. So this is comparing the very same job and the wage of a man to the wage of a woman. And it goes back from 1997 right up until 2009 on this. So it shows how it's getting progressively more. And how the difference is becoming less as time has gone by. So if you look at the first one, it says oh my god, it's really blurry. So marketing and treating process operatives, and there was a men's hourly rate of £11.29 and the women's was £5.80. So there's a significant difference. It says 48.6% gap between that of a man and a woman for the exact same job in 1997. And then brokers, a man would earn £28.75, whereas a woman would get £16.55, being a difference of 42.4%. And you can see that it's getting less and less as time goes on. So lawyers, for example, a man's hourly rate would be something like £28.45, whereas that of a woman would be £21.75. So a difference of 23.6%. And then we've got secondary school teachers. The man would earn £22.94, while the woman would earn £21.36 per hour. Social workers. Women would get £16.78, where this changes and it's a man that gets less in this one at £16.55. But that is again predominantly a woman job.
Social, we remember
Yeah.
that from one of the previous slides there. Real quick, Nail Driver, good to see you as well. Brings up so messed up. My wife unloaded UPS tractor trailers while going to school herself to learn to be a teacher. The stories. There's another perfect example, I guess, of what we were just discussing. Unloading UPS tractor trailers. That requires strength in numbers, right?
Yeah.
I guess another one of those that could be stigmatized or stereotyped as a male dominated profession. But as you can see, quite the opposite. Females are more than capable of handling these tasks. And, the whole thing that started it off was what was that, World War II, Rosie the Riveter, etc. We can do this as well, as any man. And the workforce needed help. As we had many men overseas fighting for, the war and such. So the women stepped in for the workforce to keep this country going as well while the war was going on. And that was, I believe, the kickoff for most of this. At least that got us started in the right direction, right?
I've actually got a video that shows some of this. It's only 2 minutes, so I'm just going to pop that up because I feel like it's a good time.
Yeah, I'm going to check on Penelope too.
And then I want to go over talking about the pink tax after this, which is a very, very controversial topic. So I'm just going to put this video on and then we'll come back. It is literally about 2 minutes. There we go.
That was awesome.
You have it other way, don't you? There. Right. Yeah, I just thought that that was a good little video that showed when certain
Yeah,
things
it's neat
come
to
out.
see how it transformed from just a
Yeah.
day
Hmm.
to a week to a national
Yeah.
uh,
Month.
month,
Yeah.
um, not just in the UK and Europe, um, but
Hmm.
then how it also became, it gained steam and grew in the
Hmm.
States as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a good little video to show. We will get right on into some of the pink tag stuff. Let me just take a
Yeah.
look here. Nail Driver says she came over by herself as a teen from Ireland. Um, my here. Let me start with that. My grandmother uh, wired the noses of bombers. So that was some Rosie the Riveter stuff there. Um, she came over by herself as a teen from Ireland on a ship that was smoldering from a sub attack. All they could do is dump water and put out the fire. And Uncle Rick is in the house. It's good to see you, Uncle Rick. There he is from Vancouver. The lovely Uncle Rick. Checking on his points,
Hmm.
of which he has 0, but he's ranked number 2. It's a fair system we have here on Twitch. um, but anywho,
Oh,
I wonder who number 1 is. Would that quite possibly be me? Let's find out.
interesting. No.
No, I'm ranked number 5 on my own fucking channel.
Oh, yeah. Let me have a look.
Okay. But anywho, uh,
There you
you're
go.
number
I'm
1.
number one.
Gemma's number 1. I
And
love
I
that.
still have a huge 0 points.
Okay. Well,
I'd love to know how
it
that
is
works.
Women's History Month, so
Oh well, getting it in there. Right.
um,
So I've
quite
got
fun. So yeah, take us into some pink tax stuff. Let's
yeah,
learn.
got some pink tax and then a bit of more serious stuff. But let's go for the pink tax stuff first. Where we have, let's start with this one. There we go. So it says women spend $1,351 more a year on personal care products. Personal care products cost 13% more for women, so that's like razors and things because they're deemed as a luxury item for a woman, whereas for a man, not so much. Pink items can be 15% more than other colored items. So, like the actual physical color, pink. So, if you wanted a pink phone, for example, or like just an item that is pink, women are twice as likely to be quoted a higher price on a car. Women pay 15% more than men for shirts. And then on average, clothes cost 8% less for men. Razors cost 11% less for men than they do for women. On average, dry cleaners charge $2 less for men's shirts. Men pay 29% less for underwear than women. And hair care products cost 48% less for men. And then we have
So my
right here.
my wife had just recently purchased a pack of razors. I was gonna look and find it because the packaging. I
Mhm.
mean, they're just disposable razors, but it is pink. Um,
And that'll have cost
the
more.
the men's disposable razors are blue and the women's are pink. I
Mhm.
actually prefer the women's disposable razors to shave with because they don't scratch my face up. So, um,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Again, the fact that they think that women have more delicate skin and things like that, that's all like
I'd be curious now that I know this. I'll have to check it out. What next time we go
do.
to Walmart
Yeah,
or something and compare
do
the
so.
two.
I might when I go shopping next, I might have a look at certain items and post them in the Discord, photograph things just to show you what I mean. But
Yeah.
here we have now. So this is a comparison of prices between men and women, and it's clothing and toys and accessories. So, oops, just trying to make it bigger. There we go. So it says the average price for women is $307.38 in total, whereas it is $285.85 for men. So a pair of dress pants average. This is just the average price for them. So dress pants, $75.66 as opposed to $71.71 for a man. Sweaters, $63.19 as opposed to $59.45 for a man. 62 $62.75 for jeans as opposed to $57.09 for men. $58.11 for dress shirts as opposed to $51.46, and then shirts, like a t-shirt, $29.23 to $25.51. And then we have personal care products, so razor cartridges, 17.3 as opposed to 15.61 for men. The actual razor itself, so like these would be probably disposables and stuff, something like $8.90 as opposed to $7.99 for a man. Shampoo and conditioner, $8.39 as opposed to, where are we, $5.68.
No, isn't that fascinating?
Lotion, $8.25 as opposed to $5.40. Shaving cream, $3.73 for a woman, $3.89 for a man, which that is actually higher for the man slightly, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, shaving is actually deemed as a luxury for a woman.
So you can see that
hmm
the two there that are in blue, underwear and digestive health products, trend higher for men.
Yeah. And then we have like things from bikes and scooters, like a
Oh, and
man's
shaving cream.
bike, 81.90, 86.72 for a woman. There's literally all sorts of different things. Adult diapers, 32.71 for a woman, 32.06 for a
No,
man.
that doesn't make any damn sense.
But
But see, I thought now clothing in particular,
mhm,
adult clothing. Uh, my wife can easily outspend me in the clothing department.
mhm,
But I always just attributed it to women have more of a fashion sense. Um, a lot of the clothes that she buys is designer ass
mhm,
products, that are,
mhm,
$300 for a jacket, whereas I can get a jacket for $25 at Walmart and be
mhm.
just happy. Um, so
Yeah, I
I always attributed it to a little bit more of that, but I guess looking at these, I'm assuming these are just like side by side comparisons that off of
yeah,
Walmart.
unbranded side by side comparisons. One thing you'll notice as well if you go into a shop, there is far more choice for a woman and a girl than there is a man and a boy.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, like the clothes, if you went into the shop and got a plain, say, a plain pair of dress trousers or a plain t-shirt for a woman's one, and you compare it to that of a similar one for a man's, there is a price difference. There's definitely a price difference. And then when you start going from kid sizes, because you're not technically meant to pay tax, VAT, things like that on children's things. But as soon as it reaches a certain size that's classed as adult size, then the price skyrockets.
Yeah.
For example, shoes. I was buying
Shoes
Thomas
is
shoes and I could get a decent pair of trainers for him for less than £20. As soon as he got into adult sizes, so he's in a 6, he's going to have battleships for feet by the time he's older. He's in a 6 at the moment, and that's now deemed as an adult price. You're looking at about £40. So it's high. And then we have, where did I see it? I did upload it, didn't I?
What are you
No,
looking for?
no, there's one I didn't upload, but it doesn't matter. So here we've got this one. I'm going to have to read it to you because it's a long thing, so you're not going to be able to read it on the screen, I don't imagine. Okay, so the pink tax has been around since the 1930s and refers to the extra amount of put my teeth in. The extra amount of money women are charged for feminine products. So on average, women are charged 4% more on girls' clothing, 13% more on personal care products, and 8% more on senior or home health products. And then same products, same store, different sex comparison. So this is a side-by-side comparison. So the girls' Minnie Mouse potty set, $12.99. Boys' Elmo potty set, $11.99. Casio pink calculator, $11. Casio blue calculator, $10.68. VO5 women's shampoo, $1.99. VO5 men's shampoo, $1.32. And Shix, well, women's razor is Shix. That must be a US brand. So
Yes.
this is women's razor 3-pack, so disposable, no doubt. For $15.49 for women. I'm not doing well with these prices. As opposed to the man's 3-pack at $14.49.
And then all the
So not
sources.
only is there a pink tax on, it's deemed as pink tax for the feminine products, for women's products, but there is actually an extra charge on items that are colored pink as well. So if you wanted to buy something in the pink color, you could look on Amazon right now and
Yeah.
say, for example, you wanted, I don't know, anything that you can get in multiple colors.
A phone case, like you said earlier.
Yeah, the phone cases. That'll be more in pink. And I was actually looking for a computer chair for my son. This is no lie.
That's more money for the. There's no none of that goes to like breast cancer awareness or breast cancer
Nope.
fund, Betty Hurwitz.
No, nothing.
For
Nothing
the
like
pink
that.
stuff, because a lot of times you'll see that, especially in the month
Oh,
of October, you'll
yeah.
see
They're
pink
tickled
items
pink.
sold
Yeah, it's
for charity. But you're talking
yeah,
about just a pink razor
just a
going to
pink
cost you
razor.
more than
Yeah.
the blue one.
And that's got nothing. It will tell you on the packaging if some of it's donated to charity, but you will actually find, say, for example, you bought a pack of razors and it said that it was for, it's usually something like Tickled Pink brand. And if you were, say, for example, paying $16 for a pack of 3 razors, and it said that it was for the charity, the difference in price between the men's and women's, say, for example, hypothetically, there's $2 difference. Those $2 won't necessarily be going to the charity. Maybe a dollar would, and then the
Yeah.
extra dollar is just pink tax. So
Huh.
it does actually say if it's something like that that's going to charity, but usually no, it's just pink tax.
Right.
So
Well, this is definitely something I'm going to keep more of an eye on when I go out
do.
shopping with the wife.
It's a real thing, and it's attached to a lot of products. I have got I couldn't upload it tonight, but I have got a list of items that
That's
are,
okay. We can put it up in the Discord.
Yeah. Well, it's a list of items that are on the pink tax list. So if you go and look at this list and then went to the shop to compare those items, you will see there's a significant price difference just because it says it's for women. Whereas if if you wanted to buy, say, shampoo, as long as it doesn't say that it's a women's shampoo, then normal price. If you go out and specifically buy women's shampoo or women's body products, cleaning products, things like that, it'll be more. So I purposely make sure I don't buy anything that says it's for women, because at the end of the day, hair is hair, is it not? It's like, why would my shampoo need to be for that of a woman?
How much shampoo do you think I need versus you?
Yeah, you'd definitely get it cheaper.
Uh,
So we have, when my mouse decides to cooperate, this one. Let me show you this one now. So toiletry tax, or pink tax, but this is for toiletries. Men versus women. So whose beauty regime is more expensive? Spot the difference between the average price of men's and women's health and body products. So a 4-pack of disposable razors.
so you said,
Women's razors are 6.28% more expensive. So the women price £3.38 and the men's price £3.18. So I've tried to do it so it shows US price and UK price, dollars and pounds, just so you can see that it isn't just in a certain
yeah. That this is you're
everywhere.
feeling this over there as well.
Deodorant, 250 ml. Women's deodorant is 8.9% more expensive. Women pay £2.08. Men pay £1.91. Facial moisturizer, 50 ml. Women's moisturizer is 34.28% more expensive. Women pay £10.77. Men pay £8.02.
Supply and demand, folks.
Well, yeah, that's literally what it is. And
I don't use facial moisturizer. I do use deodorant and I do use disposable razors, but um, I can see them putting a higher price tag on it for those that are excuse me, for those that are going to purchase, um, to make up for the fact that they're not getting much out of the male market on something like that.
there's one slide that I thought I'd uploaded that I have not, so I'm just going to do that now. But if we look here at this one, it says that tampon tax. What is more of a household basic than a tampon? So it says we currently pay 5% tax on all of women's sanitary products. So like from the pads to the
The hell's a
sprays.
Jaffa cake?
Oh god, it's like a sponge with chocolate on the top, and it's got like an orange jelly middle.
So like a little Debbie.
Yeah.
Chocolate spread is Nutella.
Yeah. So all of these, like the chocolate chip biscuit, Jaffa cakes, chocolate spread, tortillas, milkshakes, toffee apples, pita bread, a game of bingo, and chickpeas, they are all tax-free items
Milkshakes.
because they are deemed, as it says here.
But that's a fucking pink milkshake. Toffee apples. These are considered.
These are considered household essential, basic household essentials.
But a
So you
tampon,
don't pay
you're
tax
fresh out on.
on those. But if you want a Tampax, you got tax on it because it's a luxury, rather than an
Good to see
essential,
you.
which is ridiculous. I'm just trying to upload something else I want to show that it seems to have disappeared. I hope it hasn't.
Yeah, it looks like you uploaded one of the same slides.
Yeah.
Did you do this one?
Oh, that's I'm coming on to that. Yeah, the domestic violence ones and stuff. I wanted to try and get a whole range of differences between men and women. Where's the purple Oh, here we go. Restore that. Right, just bear with me. Sorry. This one shows the countries, which is why, again, I wanted to share this because I think, again, it just demonstrates perfectly that there is a difference everywhere. Oh, it's not letting me do it. Hang on. Remove from studio. Try again. Slides there. Perfect. Right, here we go. So this one is again for period supplies, so sanitary products for periods, women's sanitary products, and this is in 2020, and it says that the tax rate on feminine hygiene products in selected countries. So Hungary is the highest, that pays 27% tax on these luxury products. Sweden, 25%. Mexico, 16%. Spain, 10%. US, 10%. Iran, 9%. Germany, 7%. France, 5.5%. And Poland and the UK with 5%. So that's the percentage tax you're paying on all women's period supplies. And then it says countries where female sanitary items come tax-free: Ireland, South Africa, Australia, Canada, India, Malaysia, Nicaragua. I can't pronounce that one.
Nicaragua.
That. Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, Jamaica, Lebanon, Colombia, and Rwanda. They are all countries where you can buy sanitary products without tax. They are trying to squash the tax on these, full stop. And it says plans for tax reductions: Spain, 10% to 4%, Switzerland, 7.7% to 2.5%. Items may also be subject to an import levy.
Yeah. So
Maximum rate, 30 states in between 4.35
that asterisk
and 10.
there is for the United States. You can see has an asterisk
Mhm.
next to it. That's going state by state.
Yeah.
As some of our states don't, uh, the state government can supersede the
Yeah.
well, it never supersedes the federal government, but we can operate on a state by state basis. Like Delaware, for instance, right by us here in Maryland, is tax free, a tax free
Yeah.
state.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but that's neither here nor there.
It just shows that, like, every country, and you might not know this as a woman, that you are still facing these stigmas, but it's very real and it's still happening even now. Um, it's there's so many different things. And then I just wanted to, because I know we're aware of time, really quickly for the last point that I had to make with the domestic violence. So again, gender and domestic abuse. 91% of domestic violence crimes that cause injuries are against women. 93% of perpetrators who abused women survivors were male. Um, and this says data on 16,756 perpetrators recorded between 1st of April 2017 to the 31st of March 2018. So 83% of domestic abuse victims who are subjected to more than 10 crimes are women. And each year, over 65,000 victims at high risk of serious harm or murder are discussed at a MARAC meeting across the UK. 95% of these are women. So MARAC is a multidisciplinary thing where, like,
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
agencies that you are involved with, so like police, doctors, schools, if necessary, all have this meeting together so that they can see what you need to be safe. Like when I was going through the domestic violence myself, I was put on a high risk MARAC because of the risk to my life. and everybody was aware that dealt with my care was aware that this was in place. And I was eventually given this tiny little phone where I had to just press and hold. I think it was number 5, and it would allow the police who had the receiver for this to hear me. I couldn't hear them because the idea was that um, if I was in a situation where I couldn't talk, that would be so they could hear me and they'd be able to track me a lot quicker. And we've got, I don't know if that was the only one, I think, for that.
I think that was all of
But
them.
yeah, that's them all. Yeah, that's all.
It's nuts to look at
Mhm,
all of these things going on, because we've covered a number of topics on this show, and a lot of things have to do with race relations and such.
mhm,
We don't really dive many times into the male versus female aspect.
mhm,
But this was a good episode to cap off Women's History Month
mhm.
across the globe. And we will definitely revisit some of these topics down the stretch here and make this more of a priority to talk about, as it seems there's plenty to be discussed here.
Oh yeah, it shows the how things have come on over the years and how much change has actually been made for the better, but we've still got a lot to go to overcome, I think.
Yeah, one
Uh,
thing in particular I'd like to revisit down the road is this percentage of job rates, like who's doing
mm,
what as far as males versus females. See if we can't update some numbers on that, and
yeah.
maybe we could probably get a full episode out of that, because I think that'd be some good conversation to have.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely.
with that with that being said, we will go ahead and start the closing up process, and take a look at some community calendar. Um, well, it was a great episode. I enjoyed it. I didn't have a lot um, maybe to bring to the table on this one, but Gemma, I think, did an excellent job going over some things, not just in the UK but worldwide, um,
Mhm,
and definitely brought up some good points to take a look at for future episodes. Um, Jim in Chicagoland, every Wednesday night between 10 and 11. We join him for Catalyst to round out our Wednesday nights.
mhm,
Midweek mental health fun extravaganza. Also, check out Array of Sunshine 21. He's a moderator on this broadcast. He was not here tonight to click on in the comments, but his link is right there
mhm,
in the chat. Array of Sunshine 21. Positive stories, positive vibes. Check him out every Tuesday night on Twitch. Gemma, my co-host, who did an outstanding job preparing and getting all these slides tonight, does her own thing on Twitch as well. You can catch her and the Med at sometimes doing some cooking, crafting, etc., etc. And then Eric J. Gaming, who is also a good friend of the show, does a Monday night broadcast where he sprinkles in some mental health with his video game play. And as
yeah,
always, don't forget, for all things bunny, check out our great friend and longtime sponsor of the show, Ella the Bunny Mom, here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ella the Bunny Mom. And you can go to mybunnyvalentine.com. Use the promo code FireDude15 for all things mental health hour. Check out our bio link listed in the chat there, and join our amazing community on the Discord as well. All right, guys, that's it for me. Gemma, have a good night.
yeah.
We'll
Good
see you
night.
guys.